Alright guys, Bowie here, and this is weird shit that the new Morphling can do. Explain part 1. The first one is pretty interesting. We have this Morphling here, Roshin, and with the vision from that missile, the Earthshaker can echo this. It was pretty good for Morphling. He had a lot of strength and he morphs into Earthshaker. So, I mean, not only you get the Fissure that he tries to use here to stop the Earthshaker from blinking out, he does it pretty badly, but the Enchant Totem is pretty good, because you can Enchant Totem and then attack as a Morphling, and that will give you a lot of damage, because you have a lot of base damage. You can also, keep going back and forth and getting Enchant Totems a lot of times, but that doesn't happen here. This clip here showcases a misconception. You can use Blade Fury, then go back into Morphling, and you will still have spell immunity, but as Juggernaut, you cannot deal damage to other heroes while you have that. So you can only do that to buildings, and here he's pretty much just wasting his time because he cannot right click. This clip showcases way better how to use that. He uses the Blade Fury here to engage into Morphling form, which I'm not sure makes a difference, but he also got Healing Ward this time, so that's pretty nice. This is a pretty interesting clip. He ends up becoming Pudge. He has enough mana for one hook and he's going to get that kill, even though Pudge denies himself, he keeps following up. And notice that he pops the magic one as a Pudge. He has less intelligence than the Morphling, so he's actually recovering more percentage-wise. With that fake back, he's able to hook the Shadow Shaman. And the fight just keeps on going. In the early game, becoming Pudge can be so incredible. Nicely done by that Morphling. This one is pretty interesting as well. He initiates on the Shadow Shaman and he becomes Anti-Mage. Mobile heroes are usually pretty good regardless of what happens. So heroes like Plop and Anti-Mage, having that mobility to go back and forth and try to kill whoever you feel like it's easier to kill allows you to do a lot of stuff. Well, becoming Quap, as I said, those mobile heroes are pretty nice, but notice that you need to have vision of other heroes. He goes crazy here, and yeah, they were 10k good ahead, but everyone was waiting for him. This is a way better use of the Morphing to Quap with follow-up, so they have Bane there, Fiend's Grip, and they get the kill. But notice, and that's the most important part of the clip, that he uses the mana from Quap to actually farm those waves. If you can save mana, why not? You actually don't have a lot of AoE on Morph anyways, and you have very little mana, so that's a nice use of the Morph. Well, becoming Monkey King is pretty nice. You can get the Jingu stacks, and you keep the stacks as a Morphling, but he was not really interested in that. If you're a Monkey King, you don't take damage from the Monkey King ult. I'm just kidding, you do. That sucks. And Tree Dance can be used to find a Monkey King, but you can also get stuck there, so be careful not to be low in mana when you get back from your Monkey King form. This one is pretty simple. Heroes that have skills that remain for long periods of time are always good to morph into, so Clockwork allows you to get a Battery Assault, so he gets the last amount of damage he needed to get that solo kill. But there's something that a lot of people forget about, and is that you don't lose HP while you're morphed into something else. So in this fight here, he soaks a lot of damage from the enemy team, and since he can morph back before they burst him, he can re-engage and they get more kills just because of the fact that he baits as another hero. Pretty nice play. You can become Tiny and then you can use the Avalanche Toss back to get kills. So they were 11k gold behind and they actually win this game. So that was nicely done. Since Toss is so low cooldown, you can even use Toss to keep following up after that. This is another pretty nice clip. You don't usually think that becoming Shadow Shaman might be pretty good, but he has a lot of control and they have a Shadow Fiend and it works pretty well. Notice how he goes with intelligence strats just so that he loses less mana while he waveforms. You can become heroes that have a lot of burst damage when you go for the Ethereal Blade, and that allows you to get more damage while you ethereal someone. So Tiny here allows him to finish the Tiny off in a way. This fight here goes to show that while Morph is a very strong ability, you need to be very careful. Here, he ends up becoming the Pvgna before he dies, so he becomes a very low HP hero and just loses the Aegis. When someone dies, even if they buy back, you cannot morph back into them, even if they're alive. So that's pretty good to know. He noticed that he cannot become Pvgna anymore, even though Pvgna buys back and he used Morph pretty fast there. So they just disengage. This clip is pretty cool, just goes to show how becoming a sack of meat by morphing someone is strong by itself, even if there are no good abilities. And I'm not saying that Puck doesn't have good abilities, it's just that if he just marched towards that fight, he might have just died. But since he was Puck, he's able to phase shift and then morph back, and he's a full HP hero again and he can fight. And this fight here is also pretty nice. He had no mana, but notice that he gets a little bit of mana afterwards. And with the Repel, one of the best abilities to have as a Morphling, he just chases them down. One thing to note here, and I was actually in doubt of it, he's going as a Morphling. And I was thinking, well, Omni has more move speed. He has Sanjanasha. Isn't it faster to be Omni here? And in this case, it's pretty much the same. You have the same amount of move speed, but in some cases, you could be faster. So, you know, heroes like Enchanters and stuff, try to check whether you're faster as one hero or another, so that you can close the gap easier. This is a fun video. I mean, he doesn't really accomplish anything, but heroes like Jakiro, they have a lot of slows and chases, so even though Jakiro might not seem like the best hero, it would allow him to chase the Jakiro down, but nice play with the U-Scepter. Even then, there's stuff you can do. He can use the Brief Fire here and the mana from other heroes to farm waves. This is another clip that goes to show how Morph is a strong ability even when you don't use any abilities at all. Here he has BKB, and notice how he can become a full HP and tanky, like higher level hero as OD, and just trade hits here and pretty much just waste the duration of the GA. And then he can go back and use his BKB, and that allows him to fight for long periods of time without, you know, using BKB straight away. He doesn't have Ethereal Blade, so he wouldn't be able to kill anyone, so he just wastes his time as an OD. In this clip is pretty much similar. You're gonna see what happens. He has like 3k HP, a lot of armor because he's an OD. OD is very high armor. So he goes in, marches towards everyone. He's kind of small, so that's pretty funny. He almost gets bursted down, but then he just BKBs and becomes a freaking insane hero, and he is able to turn that fight around, or at least fight for a pretty long period of time. This BKB is a replay bug, by the way, but just watch this clip. Since he becomes Omni Knight, he is able to pop Repel and then save that BKB that he actually didn't have, by the way, and he pops it later on into the fight, allowing them to win the game. The game was in a way won, you could say, but he just buys a lot of time, and I guess that's one of the biggest things that Morph give you now. Windranger is another pretty cool hero. You get a very long duration stun that you can use to then right click as a Morphling. You also get the Windrun, so notice that he's going to TP top here, and he pops Windrun before he TP, so that when he gets there he can follow up faster and he has evasion. The thing though is that this is a very long TP because people TP there, and this is a very low level Windrun, but that's also something to try to know when you use in your own fights. This clip is here to show how sometimes morphing into allies is something good. In a game like this, it's very scary to initiate against the likes of Batrider and so much burst damage, so he becomes Tusk, he gets another Sigil, and he just engages as this very tanky hero. And he keeps switching, as he disengages he just becomes a very tanky hero because Tusk has a lot of... This is actually a bug, now he's Morphling. But you can use your tanky allies like Tiny and Tusk that have a lot of strength gain and just be this hack of meat that just gets a lot of damage. In this Tiny replay here, he uses Tree Grab, and you're going to notice he's going to attack the tower only once, but that's a lot of damage, and you remain the damage, and you also remain, you also get the cleave. So when you have a Tiny in your team, sometimes morphing into allies can become an option. Also notice that since he got the tree grab first and the ult ended, he has the chance to actually become Juggernaut during that fight, and he gets the healing ward and he micros it perfectly. They just dive everyone into their fountain, and having healing ward in late game fights like this is super strong, and they pretty much win the game at this point. Heroes like Tusk are also pretty good to morph into if they're in the enemy. He just closes the gap with the snowball, and then he uses the shards to block, has the sigil to slow him down, and yeah, pretty much just a solo kill. Pretty easy to do. This was so poorly executed that got me super mad. They don't know how to... If you don't know, the raise buff lasts for 9 seconds, but the cooldown is kinda long, so you want to use them slowly here. And this Roshan could be done so much faster if they actually stack that properly. See, the last raise, he should have actually saved it for a little while, just so they can stack the raises. Anyways, in his other clip here, he's already level 18, so Morph has very low cooldown, and he just becomes Night Stalker. They knew that everyone was top, so he just gets into this shrine faster and takes it down. You know, it's pretty much only for the move speed, but in situations like this where it doesn't matter, it can be a nice thing to do. He pretty much outplays an Earth Spirit. Even though he had Blink, he's able to use Waveform to become the Earth Spirit. And by the way, you actually get all the stones, even if you morph again. And yeah, as I was saying about actually getting the jingle stacks, I feel like he misplayed pretty hard here. He becomes Monkey King, but he just attacks twice, and he uses the Boundless Strike. I feel like if he just actually got the 4 jingle stacks, he would pretty much not die and just win the game right there. And this is a clip with tree grab, so that's amazing. He becomes tiny, he gets a tree grab straight away, so he's going to destroy the tower super fast. Then he uses the toss so that DP can follow up, and then he's going to use Avalanche, get another tree, and go back to Morphling form, allowing him to deal even more damage. Notice how he deals way more. He kind of wastes that in the glyph, but you deal way more damage when you have the tree grab, so that was nicely done. Guys, thanks for watching. I mean, I've been using a lot of my time to stream, and I know that a lot of people don't know my stream or don't like it. So if you don't like it, please leave in the comments telling me why you don't like it, what would make you watch my stream a little bit more. And if you don't know my stream, maybe you should just check it out. I am doing a lot of cool stuff there. Thanks for watching, guys. This video is sponsored by Pvgna. Those guys help me quite a bit, and yeah, bye.